Hey there team, and welcome to an emergency battle autopsy. This is a fight from last night. Now I normally like to let my fights sort of simmer for a few days at least before I crack at them, but this one needed attention. I'll probably be doing this as a what was I thinking style, but much more intense on myself in the early stages, because this is very much for my own benefit right now. I'll give a spoiler right now. I don't do so great, and it was not apparent to me, or not clearly apparent to me, why. So I really want to go in and examine and just make sure that I don't make some mistakes I clearly did last time. Playing as Dol Amroth here, so I play Dol Amroth in field battles a lot. You know, I don't play them too cav heavy either, so it's not that I don't really know these units. You know, I'm aware of them, but still, we'll get through that. We've got a lot of time before the battle really starts, so I'll get through my deployment here. 2 Dwarven and Orcish, gave them an armor upgrade. Coming in up against 2 Dwarven attackers and 1 Mordor. Sorry, 2 Dwarven defenders and 1 Mordor defender. So my archers are really not going to be doing much damage, even if I went for the more expensive archers. I'm just giving them the armor upgrade to give them a little bit more survivability, so that the enemy can shoot at them a little bit longer. Edhelin men at arms, giving them an armor upgrade though. Really just want them to survive as long as they can. Again, they won't be doing much damage up against the dwarves, but they can kill a few orcs. But even up against dwarves with that armor upgrade, they'll stand their ground. My 2 Belfalas Marines there, I'm relying on them to do a fair bit of damage. Another men at arms. My Haven Guard, I didn't put my general in the Haven Guard today actually. Then my Halberdiers and 2 units of pikemen with that armor upgrade. Again, pikemen are not going to be as good as Halberdiers are up against the dwarves, but I just wanted to go really quite phalanx heavy. My allies are not, so I'll run through that later. 2 Black Swan Renegades. I felt that their armor piercing and sort of decent quality was going to be holding me through there, and then I've got my 2 Dismounted Knights off the Silver Swan, just to keep everybody in line and keep everybody fighting for as long as possible. And I've got my general in amongst them, and then also 1 unit of Peridhill Horse Guard, which, as I say, I generally do recommend people take. Unless somebody wants to take multiple units, I do always recommend that you take some melee cavalry. On my left, I've got Son of the Dunedain. He's got some Coldfell Maidens in the back there. 8 more Troll Hunters. Dunman Spears. We caught sight of some Rangers there. Black Wolds, and then really a Rudar, Axeman, and Clansman swarm here. No swordsmen taken, which, when you know you're up against the dwarves, that's what you've got to do. You just can't take the Rudar swordsmen. As much as I like them, and as high damage as they are, they're just not going to be able to get through dwarves. Then the March Wardens off the wood over here, along with some Blades of the Wood, Lornand Axemen, and Spears. Double Lornand Warriors, Kindred there with the General, Elder Council, and lastly the Guardians in the back. Zooming on over, I probably should just double clicked, but as I say, we've got time. The Black Serpents from Killian, then the Beast Hunters, Demons of the Desert, Haradrim Archers, Mahud Warriors, Mahud Berserkers, Champions of Nafarat, Trollmen, Serpent Guard, Dismounted Serpent Guard, yep, and Southron Warband, and then some Haradrim Spears. Then over here, this Southron Warband mixed up with some Southron Pikemen, which is actually quite, powerful. All those units have armor piercing there. We've got Gandalf the Groovy. This was actually Gandalf's first game, so that was pretty cool. Catapult there from him for Angmar. Then Guardians of Carn Dum there with an armor upgrade. Yep. Then the Angmar Halberds, Witch Realm Pikes, more Angmar Halberds, more Witch Realm Pikes, and the Hammer Guard over there. With the General? Nope, sorry. Then we've got the Scourge Raiders, Guardians of Carn Dum, the Angmar Marauders, and the Blackguard, and that's where he's got his general. No Witchers for him today, unless they're snuggled in somewhere that I can't see. But yeah, so as I say, we'll not be able to see too much what's going on over there too early on, because I want to be, you know, focusing on me for a bit. We'll jump up here and we will go into 2x speed. 51,000 frames, quite long, but not excessively long for a Carn Dum. You know, they have definitely gone on much longer than that in the future. I won't bother signing out today of Steam, so we'll just be able to see what all my friends are playing. And but yeah, Carn Dum is definitely a pretty decent fortress. It's one of the places that I definitely do think that the defenders can hold a 5v3. There's a lot of places that, unless the defenders are really, really damn good, a 5v3 is going to overwhelm them. But here, I really think that they can get away with it. And at the very start, the defenders have kind of split themselves into what you commonly see with the... Oh, Basil? Where are you? Oh, he's at the door. So as Basil left the room now, but he will no doubt return. Good. So, we'll probably keep on... now, slow it down to 0.5. So, we'll have a quick glance over the defenders. They've got some Ironfoot spears here. Orc fodder mixed in amongst them. Halberdiers, Axe Guard of Erebor. Ironfoot crossbows. Then, halberds. Temple Guard there. So this is Beshe and Nokedli. Troll Drummers, Javies, Minas Morgul Chosen, Bulldogs, Mornon Archers, Mornon Halberds, the Nazgul, Orc Maulers, Orc Javies, and Mountain Trolls. Then over here on the right we've got Last Shadow, Sentries of Khazad-dûm, Hammers of Gundabad, Sentries of Khazad-dûm, 3rd Legion Infantry, Sentries, 3rd, 2nd Legion Axe Guard, Guards of Khazad-dûm, Reclaimers, Orc Hunters, triple Sons of the Fallen, Legion Bodyguard, Mithril Guard, and 1st Legion Pikes. And then only the Hammer Guard, Dragon Slayers, Obsidian Guard, and Sons of Durin at the back. In the middle here, Highborns, Erebor Legionnaires, Oleg High, Minas Morgul Chosen again, Blackguard, Catapult, Shadowbows, Mornon Archers, Ironfoot Pikes, Legionnaires, and some Temple Executioners with an armor upgrade, and then some Ironfoot Pikes standing by there. So, being in the center of Carn Dum, you are usually, not always, but you are usually going to be coming in by yourself. Sometimes what will happen is one of the, armies to your sides will lend you some troops, but usually, unless you are very well coordinated, what's going to happen is that the two armies on either side of you are going to be coming into their gates a lot harder, and you're more there to just kind of hold the attention in the center, which, being a Western Kingdom of Man and taking the kind of build that I have, I can do that. I can take focus, my boys have some decent armor, so I'm feeling content about that. Yeah, I don't have the numbers that I would have if I was a wild man or an orc, but, the Western Kingdom's men really don't need those numbers because, as I say, they have their armor and they've got half-decent defensive skill values. So I did feel confident in my ability. And the Bulldogs are an immediate concern to me. They've got that armor piercing. They're they're really just a good unit that I like to use, and so that did worry me on the front line. But my initial thinking was that what I was going to do was I was going to come at them and I was going to make sure that fighting up against them, I had a Black Swan Renegade and I had a Knight of the Silver Swan. And I felt if I had both of those units double teaming a unit of Bulldogs, that would be enough to take them out. But we'll see how that goes in a minute. So I'm really letting my flanks push up first because, as I say, they've got more numbers than I do. They've got the two armies, whereas I'm just by myself. So, yeah, I didn't feel too bad just holding back. If I got stuck in right away, then that would be horrific. Yeah, towers, of course, on Carn Dum, which not every map has got the towers, but as I say, it's not really going to rack up a massive amount of kills, but over time, it does do some damage. We've got the ram slamming into that gate from Son of the Dunedain. And I decide, yeah, I really need to sort of get my ram moved up as well. So I start spreading these guys out and getting them sent forward. Even if I don't really want to get stuck in right away, I know that I want that gate bursted open for when I do. Yeah, we can see a lot of firepower has gone into Killian's men here, both from the towers and also some crossbow fire. But I'm sure Killian won't be overly upset about getting some crossbows to fire into his Mahood warriors and his Southron warband. It's much better that they go into them rather than some of the real nasty southern men later. And as well as that, Angmar's got some nice guys. Definitely the pikemen and halberdiers don't really want to be receiving that crossbow attention. The catapult, where is that going? So Killian was being pretty good and instructing Gandalf as to where best to use the catapult, and they were communicating like very well back and forth of just, hey, yeah, can you move the siege tower? I think we do see it moved soon. So yeah, I was really impressed with that. It's new players will often kind of just turtle by like emotionally turtle if you know what I'm talking about, and they'll just sort of focus fully on what they're doing, and they won't try to branch out. They won't try to ask, what should I be doing? And definitely what they do struggle with is asking one of their allies to do something for them. So these archers, as I say, their primary duty here today is absorb fire, and that means as well absorbing fire from the towers. So I'm willing to kind of move them up a little bit before the men-at-arms, and I try to get some shots into these orc maulers. These orc maulers lack a shield. They've got some half-decent armor, but I felt, yeah, I've got an okay shot at them. Yes, they are defended behind that wall, but yeah, how effective is that really being? Because, of course, it's not something that I can really examine perfectly on the field. Now, I see every sort of volley I'm maybe getting about 3 or... every volley I'm probably maybe getting about 10 hits. And I just didn't feel that was enough, even on a unit like this. And Orc Maulers, they have some semblance of armor, so unless you're really able to get a lot of firepower onto them, they're gonna stand a lot better than something like the Orc Fellers from Angmar will. So then I looked at sort of this situation here, these sentries of Carn Dum, and we'll see what happens with that later. But yeah, the catapult there is opening fire on that wall and slowly busting it down. Now, of course, No Kid Lee is going to be running off the wall. You don't have to destroy the wall entirely to start dealing casualties, as we've seen before. We might even see... Nope. No, he's alright. Yeah, no, they're okay. Even just sort of taking down, say, 40 or 50%, you'll kill a lot of the unit. Orc Maulers have started to fall back from the wall. And my Dwarven archers are receiving archer fire. So I'm like, fantastic, this is exactly what I want from them. Now, there's some pretty decent fire that they've got coming into them. And I think, okay, cool, I'll return it. And, but as I sort of was returning it, I realized, I want them to use up that ammunition. And if I kill more of the unit, then he's going to go through his ammunition slower. So I actually tried to sort of turn my focus over here into sort of the orc fodder and mainly the Ironfoot pikes and see if I can do some damage to them. Coming right into their unshielded face, I was hoping to do something at least. That wall is still getting cracked on into. My gate has been busted open, and I'm going to do my normal thing of pulling the ram away, getting out of range, so that I can use my my javelins without fear. So he's getting everything. Okay, cool. All right, I did actually inflict more casualties than I thought. So he starts opening fire on my siege tower with his catapult, and I'm actually not too upset with that. Like, I would much rather just lose this siege tower and go and grab that one, rather than him unloading that ammunition on my troops later. So my Dwarven archers are taking the bulk of that fire from the archers, whereas luckily my men-at-arms are remaining relatively untouched. You're seeing some Belfast Marines running forward there. So as this is moving up, I don't really have a major intention to actually attach that to the walls, because I know that if I attach it to the walls, get a unit inside of it, and then it drops, that's a unit destroyed. So I was just gonna pop it there and actually drop it, and just hope that he continued to fire. And I've actually got my other unit of Belfast Marines soon moving out to grab that one. But he gets his Orc Maulers back up there anyway, but you see I've dropped it. So I'm happy enough I've made them use a bit of ammo on that tower. This is a bit of an issue because, of course, for me, I just don't take heaps and heaps of siege towers. I just find it messy and it gets, it's just not fun for me to do. So I get my men-at-arms starting to run up there, and I'm like, nope, I do not want the men-at-arms facing off against the bulldogs. That is just going to be getting them gutted. So I actually stop that and get them ordered back out. That's the siege tower destroyed, but luckily, of course, it doesn't kill anybody as it falls. So I'm getting my archers firing over into the sides of these sentries, which is landing, of course, a lot more hits. The sentries are lacking a shield, but I don't know. Maybe it's just that tough armor, and the fact that I'm really, I'm not hitting absolutely heaps of shots, but, we've not seen any of them drop there yet. So I end up sort of calling that off there. He sort of responds to my Marines with some mountain trolls. And so I just sort of stopped them running. Turned around, tried to get a volley on him, but he was quick enough to get back out. So I've got that siege tower. I've got them manned, and then I kind of forgot about it for a little while. Unfortunately, these are the Black Swan Renegades moving forward, getting ready to move up that siege tower. But over on my right, I see that the boys are making some great progress. It's clear that just No Kid Lee was not really ready for them to have that other entrance. They've got 1, 2, 3, and like one of them is a straight path in, and instead of just jumping on the walls. So it's not easy for him to hold. He's holding out there, but it is pretty chaotic, and the boys are flooding on in very quickly. And so I see that is happening, and I think, right, cool, I can't have Mordor just start to move troops over. I need to start engaging them. I need to do something. So I get the Black Swan Renegades moving up the tower right now, and you're seeing the Dismounted Knights of the Silver Swan coming up behind them. He backs up his Bulldogs with a unit of Orc Maulers. Pretty frightening. They can definitely smash through my armor. And I realise my Silver Swans are not going to get there in time. I need to get the men-at-arms up there in order to deal with these Orc Maulers. So as my Knights of Silver Swan are running up, hopefully they will be there already. I had a bit of trouble here. I tried to order them straight onto the walls. They weren't really having it. So it takes me a minute to realise that. They're just sitting there as they're not taking fire. Belfast Marines. If I came in here to try and start throwing into anybody, he'd respond pretty quickly with either trolls. So good. Right. So this is when the shit really starts. So I get my Black Swan Renegades stuck in there. Now, of course, I'm not expecting my Black Swan Renegades to win this fight, but they are dropping like flies. Just coming right down, and the Bulldogs are picking them apart. The Maulers, of course, doing tremendous damage to them. And I thought, jeepers, that's looking dicey. So the men-at-arms are now coming in right behind them. We're not suffering any casualties as people are climbing down from the wall, which is good. I was worried that was going to be happening, but it doesn't seem to be. So just flooding on in and trying to take some ground, trying to push them back, and I really felt that, the men-at-arms should be able to sort of deal with the Maulers, and then the Black Swans should be able to crack into the Bulldogs at least a little bit. Good, we have managed to get the Knights of the Silver Swan moving on up. But you've seen the Black Swan Renegades are wavering there. They're already down to 30. They've been absolutely picked to pieces. Are the Bulldogs just like killing them with like every swing? Yeah, there's a man down there. I just didn't expect them to die that quickly. Do they have like no defensive skill or something like that? So like when they are faced with units with armor piercing, they just die. But yeah, the men-at-arms are not holding out very much better. So the Knights of the Silver Swan are coming up now. Now they might be 2 hit points, but I try not to treat them like an elite unit. but I still felt they've got some half decent stats, and as that 2 hit points is going to keep them alive a little bit more. But the main reason they're coming up there is that morale buff, just to make sure that these men don't break, because if they all broke right now, I would have gained nothing. So they're coming flooding on in into the back lines, but as they're arriving, the poor Black Swan Renegades are already gone. So I try to come in with some Belfast Marines, hoping that he'll be a bit distracted. I see that he's definitely not, and I turn around to start fleeing out. So I should have had the other unit prepared and ready to go, so say when they were fleeing out, the other one could have volleyed some javelins inside. Because yeah, we're just seeing it like those Black Swan Renegades fighting to the death. I think the men-at-arms are actually gone. No, that's another full unit of men-at-arms there, coming on forward. And yeah, this just seems to be a bloody great counter to my boys. I just, like, I knew that this would have AP and it would be bloody, but this is just beyond what I expected. You know, Knights of Silver Swan starting to get cut to pieces there. Bulldogs taking a handful of casualties. Orc Maulers taking some damage too. But so I felt like, look, I need to maybe pressure the gate. Oh, so this is where I grabbed a unit of halberds and I actually had them run around here. The thinking being that, yeah, this is a much easier way for me to enter. And I think, to be honest, if I could go back, I would have grabbed the vast majority of my army. And I would have had what's still on that bridge would have remained there, but I would have grabbed just about everything else and rushed them on down here. Because this is a much nicer way to push through than trying to jump on that wall. Because it's just not going too well. The Nazgul are over here, so that's definitely part of it. But I don't think the Nazgul have been there for the full time. The Nazgul are definitely doing a lot of damage to me. You know, I think the Haven Guard probably should have just been thrown up here, but like, you know, I'm a big fan of using my elite units very early, but still. I think it was just this counter of the Nazgul, because I was prepared to deal with the Bulldogs. I didn't know that the Nazgul were thrown in there as early as they were. Dismounted Knights of Silver Swan down to 20 there. And I just don't have any reinforcements there to back them up now. Getting my cav around to that open area. Halberds moving forward because I'm wanting to sort of engage them in this place now. I don't know what that was. Don't know if that was a misclick on my part or what, but I think I maybe tried to come in and engage the Minas Morgul Chosen, and then the halberds sort of just started prodding me in the side, and I booked it, which was definitely for the best. Shouldn't have done it in the first place, of course. Bulldogs taking a bit of damage, but yeah, I think it's the Nazgul generally, because the Nazgul are just something that these men cannot deal with. I think I just didn't spot that they were fighting me, because if I had spotted that the Nazgul were fighting me, I would have rushed the Haven Knights, Haven Guard even, forward. I am pushing the Haven Guard forward. So there are 48 Haven Guard who are now arriving to start entering. I'm still taking damage from that tower all the time, and a few shots coming from these archers, which I don't really mind. Orc Javies poking their heads out. And the Haven Guard running on up, okay. So the Haven Guard are going to be coming toe-to-toe with these Nazgul, that's kind of the fight that I want. Because the Haven Guard, and I'm really just low on the ground, so I grab what's left off this unit of men-at-arms in a minute to get them up. Because they need something. But we're breaking them over here. Now here's where I do something kind of dumb. I get my halberds. So my halberds have kind of been pushing through, helping over here in this area just to kill off some dwarves. And now what I should have done was sorted them out, gotten them in a line, and just started pressuring this side. But instead what I did was I tried to order them up to get some backstabs on those Orc Maulers, because I still didn't know about the Nazgul. All I was looking at was the Orc Maulers and the Bulldogs. Whereas the real damage that is happening to me is coming from these Nazgul. So the Haven Guard have dropped now, And they've dropped right into the middle of this swarm of Nazgul. So they've started to hack and slash their way down. Now, yeah, as I say, this is really what I'd be wanting to fight the Nazgul with. The only thing that would be better is if these Haven Guard had AP, of course. But I would still be expecting this to go in my favour. They don't really have anything prepared to shoot at me here, because that would be a fear. Some crossbows started to rattle into me. Belfast Marines busted on in, and I'd start getting some volleys onto the back of the Temple Guard. But the issue is, I probably should have put them on guard mode. Oh no, they're about to break, I think. Yeah, because I pushed them on in. I wanted to get some volleys into the back of the Temple Guard, but that wouldn't have been necessary if I had just sorted out my halberds and pushed up through here. Because the issue is now they've broken. Just this little unit of orc fodder here behind them, and they're running, and they're gone. And that's... they still have about half of their ammunition left. So that's a terrible damn shame. I'm receiving some fire from my allies, which is great. These few halberds that did make it up here are picking their way through. But when you've got half the unit on top and half the unit down below, it's not going to go too well. So I really should have just had them down below. Haven Guard, yeah, jeepers. I guess it's just he focuses on me with the bulldogs, and it's just the mixture of the bulldogs and the Nazgul that are causing these Haven Guards such, you know, an immense amount of trouble. There's only 12 of them left now. They've got a dismounted Knights of Silver Swan, and what do I have left here? Got another unit dismounted Knights of Silver Swan with my general in it. Black Swan Renegades coming forward, and the Pikes as well. I've got a major push happening in the centre here, which I'm actually quite comfortable with. It's a lot of phalanxes, and it's just orc fodder and some halberdiers in my way. They're actually sort of, you know, really messing up my line there. But we should sort out. Orc javelins really going to be unpleasant. A lot of firepower. Is that armor piercing fire? No, it's just more non-archer fire. It's not the end of the world. Over here, I managed to get this second siege tower up, and I actually get the Belfast Marines just to climb on forward, because all they're standing in my way, all they've got standing in my way are these Moron archers. So I got my Dornernal archers that still have some ammo, along with the Belfast Marines, just to start hacking through them. I'll have a quick look at what's going on with my allies. Over here, Rudour and Lothlorien have been having a fair bit of trouble just butchering their way through the sentries. Certainly not very fun to break through that. And then in the centre, well, over on their walls, they've not actually made it go. Oh, over here they have. A lot of numbers of those Rudar Axemen, but the issue with those Rudar Axemen, lacking much armour and a shield, they are fantastic targets for the Orc Hunters just to pepper at with their arrows. I get my Horse Guard in, and my goal with the Horse Guard is to cause some trouble over here, because this is really their only major strong point now. And this is where I did a major screw up, and I gave a quick charge to the Orc Javelins. Now I know that the Orc Javelins are spears and melee, but I thought giving them a charge and then just ordering them through, I'd get through. But obviously, that's not working out for me too well. So the charge went quite nicely, but then I should have just turned around and come back. But I still just expected, because I caught them when they were throwing javelins. So I thought that it would go okay. So I'll end up getting through these 17 Horse Guard, and they're wavering right now. But I still think, great, that's fine. Try and do what I can. Get a quick charge in the back of the hammers of Gundabad, but they break before making contact, and that's them gone, because they're going to try and run through these sentries. So that was another sort of big screw up on my part. Belfast Marines slowly but surely taking out these archers, getting my next unit of renegades up there. But I probably should have, well, I should have got my renegades down here to come cracking into the Nazgul. There's still 9 Nazgul left. The bulldogs are all dead, luckily. There may not be many knights off the Silver Swan, but we are slicing through them. Oh, I'd say the bulldogs were all dead. No, they're not. They're killing off what's left of my halberdiers there. Halberdiers still off 2 mines, some on top, some down below. But we have finally managed to make a break through here. And I sort of carry on this push, trying to catch a few of them, along with some Guardians of the Carn Dum, but I realised, no, that's not what we can do right now, so we need to fall back. So I grab my boys in a minute and hide them along here. But as I say, the walls are really where my major issues have been happening. That's my general. Dol Amroth doesn't have bad morale by any stretch, but losing your general is never fun for anybody. So there's only 8. So as soon as you see one Nazgul drop, you know that they're going to be pretty low on morale. Dwarven and Orcish, that was a very sort of split apart unit. I was very sort of, you know, upset with that, but I'm getting them. Good shot there, actually. Good, okay, I didn't realise that. I didn't see that, okay. So that was definitely mincing through my guys. If I had seen that, I would have sort of gotten these Marines down off that wall immediately. A few archers there running. That's 40 archers. My Renegades, really sort of one of the only real units of quality I've got left, apart from, of course, my Marines. Just continuing to beat down this force. Yeah, there's me pulling out now. Bulldogs coming back, and that is really the death knell for my poor Knights of the Silver Swan. Now, had the Renegades come up here instead, well, like instead of going on the other side, maybe that would have done some good for me. But, I don't know. Would it have been enough to change it all? It's hard to say. Over here, though, we have full control now. And I could have very comfortably just moved my men around this area. And then I would have been in the same position. Like, all my men are hiding here. I would be in the exact same position as I am now anyway. But just with more men. And he has control over that position still with 8 Nazgul and 11 Bulldogs of Durthang. The Orc Javies have come up this way, and we are continuing to just slice through them on this very packed out wall. My archers have come back. More non-archers opening fire on us, but nothing horrendous apart from the catapult. That's another unit of Nazgul there, prepared and ready to go. They've not been touched. But all in all for this battle, we're at 31 for 41. So as much damage as I've gone through, I'm still feeling like, you know, yeah, cool, we've kind of got this still. A lot of archer fire coming from these goblin trackers, not very high damage arrows, but those Nazgul and those Bulldogs will be very badly damaged. And I was just sitting there, because these units just disappeared. You know, I thought that, you know, have I been getting shot by the Blacklocks? Like, what happened here? How did I die so fast? But yeah, so it was just not noticing the Nazgul, and you know, I felt like I was countering the Bulldogs relatively well, but no, obviously not. So these Nazgul come running on down to wreak more havoc. I finally get my archers up onto these walls to start sort of rattling into whatever I really want, and get these men moved around to the left to try and break the blockade on this doorway. We'll go up to 1 speed again. Sons of the Fallen sprinting forward. Edhelm men at arms, sort of ready to greet them. But I think that this is just very disorganized at this point, because I just wanted to get them through, but all these units are sort of so spread out that I really should have just taken a bit more time. I get my Black Swan Renegades over here though. Over on this side, we've got some Axemen hacking their way through that. So I thought if I crash into them from the back with my Black Swan Renegades, I can mince through these guys. You know, good AP maces sort of hitting them in the back. Maybe what I should have done here was sort of ordered them more forward, just so that it was the entire unit coming crashing down. But the issue is, since they've got their right side exposed to the enemy, they're not going to be benefiting from that shield. So these Reclaimers here are just going to be able to unleash hell with their axes. You know. Oh dear, what am I doing there? Why am I pulling? Oh yeah, that was an accident. That was a misclick. I tried to grab a unit from there, accidentally grabbed them instead. So that's why that happened. They almost broke there. That would have been terrible. Oh, that's yeah. These Coalfell Maidens have run all the way over here just to get some javelins in. I'm probably blocking that shot, but hopefully not. 3rd Legion infantry though are holding under this pressure. As I say, because it's only such a small amount of my men that are really fighting, I should have just tried to make them run through. This is a bit of a blob here, but as my pikes and halberds try to sort of fight for the best target, and we're up against the Sons of the Fallen, who are exceptional. Little by little we are hurting them though. So I tried to pull out some units and get them around the side. These Southron Warband, 50 of them are running on home. Guardians of Carn Dum running from the fight. But no, I've definitely got a bit of a blob there. I should have tried to engage them in a more careful manner, so that I was sort of getting more of my men fighting. I get these Belfalas Marines down. They've got ammunition. I felt fantastic. You know, this is, I can hammer into the Legion Bodyguard. I can do what I want. But he catches me with those Legion Bodyguard, and I think I'm only really able to get a good volley off on them. Yep. There's one, but they're not really going to be... There was a man down from that. Another one. Yeah, a few more of them taking damage, but he stops me. Now, issue over here, though. My Dwarven archers are getting grabbed by these Nazgul. And I was just thinking, right, okay, if I can just hold the attention of these... And this is the first time I'd seen them, actually. So that shows you how much damage that the Nazgul did to me before I even noticed them. So it's definitely the fault is on my vigilance there. So what I was originally trying to do there was... Because that was a unit of about sort of 60. And I was thinking, okay, if I just hold the attention off them, then we can get something else from Harad to come up and wipe them out. But obviously that just didn't really work out too well. So, yeah, oh, there's one Nazgul trapped there. So the Southron Warband with their AP and a Demon of the Desert is going to be able to crack in some Nazgul. But the other unit is running off. So this was me. I tried to pull out. I finally realised that I need to use my numbers and try and block off some stuff here. So I tried to pull this unit out, but it was in doing that I ended up kind of breaking it. And the Sons of the Fallen, you know, barely, well, I almost took out a full unit of the Sons of the Fallen. But that was definitely pretty unpleasant. And I really don't have much left on the field anymore. We've got 43 for 48. You can see that my poor old renegades have just been, you know, throwing axed to death. I really think they would have done better on the ground. And I understand why I came in and tried to smash those 3rd Legion. I guess I just expected their morale to break, but, you know, you're seeing that, you know, all of them died from axe fire. So it would have been much better for me to do something where they were all going to be fighting, rather than just sort of a small group of them. And he's sort of chasing me on out here, and the issue is we don't really have anything standing in their way. Moron archers coming on down now. Where are my archers? I still do have a handful left, but I just can't quite tell where they are right now. Some pikemen turned around from routing. I think that was probably the unit that I pulled out. So I'm just straightening them, and they're going to come in and try and wipe out these archers, or just try and hold the line over there for a little bit longer. I'm just trying to... I don't have much left at this point, of course, so I'm trying to micromanage as best as I can and really be just as helpful as I possibly can be. So these 26 men actually still have quite a lot of ammo left. No, you know, that's about half of their ammunition stock, so 26 men will take a very long time to get rid of that. So I get them over here, and I just want to sort of break this, because this is just holding us in place. Good swarm coming forward to stop that, so I get my pikemen moving around, where I just think, yeah, okay, the pikemen can sort of start chomping down on these Moron archers. I'll start focusing a bit more on the battle as a whole now, because, as I say, I mainly just want to know what was going on that wall. The answer, Nazguls. Snaga Stalkers are pushed on through there now. As I say, it's kind of... He is getting a good surround there, but... And, oh, good, some of the Hammer Guard have actually engaged too. But this is kind of the same issue that I had. You know, those Snaga Stalkers could maybe slip on around a bit further, but the problem is, trying to get them around like that, they might end up breaking as they're trying to achieve it. So, I can see why he's wanting to hold. Over on this stage, Orc Hunters rushing forward now. And it's pretty nasty. The Enslavers are in this fight, along with some of those Lorenand warriors. Lorenand warriors even. The Black Wolves have come on down, along with some axe throwers. Oh god, if those axe throwers could get a nice volley into the back of the Sons of the Fallen, that'd be fantastic. Well, I think they're thinking about it, but the issue is the Sons of the Fallen have spotted them. Yeah. These archers actually standing quite well because the Iron Spears have come forward. So my phalanx is just trying to keep them prodded back while I get my archers up on this wall to rattle down onto them. I was aiming for the Moron archers, just because I really didn't feel that my archer fire would do much damage to the front of those Ironfoot spears, and I wanted to just sort of lessen the numbers of them, lessen the support that those Ironfoot spears had, so we could maybe break them, break their morale. But they're sort of rushing on in, which is really allowing a bit of open season for my pikemen to do a bit of damage to them. But now that my pikes don't have anything else around them, they don't have long. Got some Southron pikes here. The Southron pikes will be doing a lot more damage to the dwarves than my poor Dornernal pikes. Mid Berserkers somehow managed to rush all the way around there. We've got control of the wall, so you can come around and come in the back. This would be a great position for some javelins up here. I actually did have some javelins. Before the javelins ran down there, I think they were actually positioned somewhere around here. Would have been great to have gotten the javelins over here instead of my renegades. Just throwing some javelins into the back of that 3rd Legion could have been great. But over here, the combination of the Sons of the Fallen and the Guards of Khazad Dum are just something that even the Hammer Guard can't beat. Legion Bodyguard thrown in there as well. So we really need some more quality, or at least a nice organised sort of Angmar halberd line to really match them. That's my pikes, of course, broken from there now. And I know it's only a matter of time before they look up and they stab my archers. So, oh wait, no, this is what I was thinking about. Yeah, no, I wasn't able to do anything with my javelins over there. Yeah, so I'm firing right down into the Axe Guard. Now, I know the Axe Guard, of course, have some great armour, but lacking that shield and shooting them, right in the face at this close range, I thought I could do something good. I see some of them moving up, though, and I know that I can do some more work with these archers, and it would just be a waste to lose them like this, so I started running them. Moving on a wall, though, as everybody knows, is very tricky, so took a good few orders before my guys sort of started to move, and oh god, he's been engaged at the back. Is he going to be sacrificed? No, he is still coming. Good for him. Charging on down now, so I'm, well, moving down in an organised fashion. Some more Ironfoot pikes. Good fire there. Mid Beast Hunters rattling into those pikes. That's some great work. Yeah, I was definitely far too bold with my Marines. This should have been something that my Marines were doing, and yeah, I just couldn't really achieve it today. Both of my units were unable to use the full amount of their ammunition. As you can see here, actually, I think my poor Marines were shot rather than killed in melee by the Legion Bodyguard. So I actually get my archers over here now, where we can just start shooting into the back of the 3rd Legion at point blank range. Now again, not going to be doing much damage to those heavily armoured men, but their shield isn't going to come into play right from the back, and yeah, even if nothing else, I wish I had fire ammunition on those guys, but it's only the Terathair marksmen that can get fire ammunition. Over here, we've only got the Dunman spearmen trying to hold them back, but I thought, if he wants to turn the 3rd Legion around and attack me with them, it means the Dunman spears are stabbing in the back. If he wants to keep doing this, it means I'm shooting him in the back. I think he's probably making the right decision, to be honest, but because I'm not going to be getting many kills here, but I'm doing something, and that makes me happy. And that is my final unit on the field. Big ol' axes from the Wood Elves there, or the Elves of Lothlorien. Some enslavers still remaining, great up against dwarves they are. Mithril Guard pushing forward. There's so many elites from the dwarves today. 1st Legion pikes, pretty much an elite of their own in my mind, are holding quite comfortably. Still some Nazgul standing. That is the same unit of Nazgul that I was facing off against. They've still got 7 men. Has there been a push over here yet? It looks like we're assembling for it. The Haradrim Arch, because of how aggressive this push was, a lot of these archers still have their ammunition, which means that they can sort of just form up and rattle into the front of these forces. Oh god. The issue is, it's just 2 units of Haradrim archers. I know they do have some other stuff moving forward, but I would be tempted to get my Olokai running down there and just bashing their brains in for a minute or two. Now what did I end... Oh god, what ended up happening here? I ran them on down. They do not have much ammunition left at this stage, and I felt that, yep, with the arrival of these elves, I thought it was done. So I got them on down here and tried to get a side shot on the Reclaimers. If nothing else, just hold them back from the front line for a minute, and I break as they run. Did Reclaimers cause fear? They might do, I don't know. They're really scary boys either way. So they chase me off, and that is that. So I felt okay that like I had them focused on me for a few minutes more, rather than sort of running in to reinforce the front line. But that is my last unit. I think, are we going to get the announcer saying something about it? No, I don't think he is. Maybe I do still have one thing left. One axe, sorry, there's a few Axe Guard of Erebor in this siege tower. Mid Beast Hunters there, falling back through the gate. And that, so yeah, from this point on it'll be much more of a normal battle report, because as I say, I'm gone. But it just wanted, you know, I really wanted to see that. Just in case I'll talk through it a lot more at the end, I think, but I will probably mention it in a few of the moments of calm that we have, because Carn Dum always has, once you've sort of taken this outer layer, there is always a little bit of time. So I'll probably sort of talk through everything at that point. The Legionnaires coming forward now, battling up against the dismounted Serpent Guard. Serpent Guard are pretty decent, to be honest, you know, being the rather sort of elite forces of Harad. But that sturdy armour of the Erebor Legionnaires is going to be tough to break through. Dismounted Serpent Guard, of course, being one of the only Harad units that doesn't seem to have armour piercing. I'd say that as a good thing, you know. It's Harad is a very tough faction to play, so it's good that they can benefit from that, and it makes sense considering, you know, their eternal enemies are the men of Gondor. That's another. Well, yeah. So that is the backup unit of Nazgul there. I don't think Bestri has gone for the legendary triple Nazgul strat, as effective as I think it can be. Blackguard there, moving up. That definitely will be able to match these guys quite comfortably. Now this would be just a great time for something to come through the main gate and sort of get a backstab on them. But see, we just don't really have much left in reserve. Maybe, see, this is another thing. Maybe what we should have done at this point, because we're sending so many men to die in that choke point, that maybe it would have been a better idea to just say, look, we've got, you know, we've got 2 other open areas. What if all of these reserves just came around and came in the main gate instead? Because we're at 71 for 70, and you know we've lost this 10% advantage that we did have. Dum and Spears getting hit pretty bad by that catapult. But it's this javelin fire that I think is going to be tearing holes in that front line. The issue is it doesn't really matter how many holes are torn in that front line if there's nobody else to charge through afterward. Not going to be much ammunition left in that catapult at this point, but still enough to do a lot of work. Yeah, that was quite nice. We'll go for that. Over here, yeah, the Ironfoot Spears, really just pretty substantial up against the Trollmen. The Southron Pikemen, I think some of them are sort of standing by right now. Maybe they need to be given an attack order. Oh no, some of them are actually. The front ranks are stabbing away with their armor-piercing pikes there. Engaging the Trolls and these Blackguard. This offshoot position is going to be getting sort of battered back a bit by the looks of things. Champions of the Nafarat, I really do like the Champions of the Nafarat, but they're not quite going to be able to deal with the Temple Executioners, not with the damage that I think they've recently going through. Those Trolls are dying out though. Haradrim Archers maybe didn't have as much ammunition as I thought they did. That's quite cool. We've got like, let's have a look at how that sort of appears on the minimap, because it's this little holdout over here is trying to survive, but it's just getting wiped out. And once that does break, all of these men can turn around and come back to assist the champions and the Guardians of Carn Dum. It's very rare that we're sort of pushing up on the second level while there is still fighting happening over here on one of the gates. The defenders were not wanting to fall back from them. And more Troll Hunters. Yeah, those Mithril Guard are just sturdy. Armor piercing as well, so those poor Troll Hunters do rely on their armor a bit. One of the only Rudar forces that can sort of assemble a bit of armor on them. But little by little, this swarm is being dealt with. The Blackguard are suffering for it though, and there are still 6 Nazgul over here. The Nazgul versus the Blackguard though is quite an interesting fight. Not something you see too often. 2 very corrupted individual units. Ah, yeah, cool. He's been seeking. Oh, dang, he went down. I was going to say, it does probably look like Gandalf has been giving the attack order for the Nazgul, because we do have these Blackguard that have individually gone out and sought out combat with these, with the Nazgul, so that's kind of fun to see. Goblin trackers, yeah, good. So everything is kind of pushed around now, and this position will break. The dwarves of Erebor kind of lacking the real morale of their western brothers, but certainly they've got decent morale, but that sort of flanking maneuver is not going to be fun for them to deal with. Eldar Council, they're being engaged by some pikes on the walls, but pikes can do quite well on the walls, but they really need to get organised, and that's a tough thing to do unless you're being attacked on the walls. And more troll hunters there. Yeah, little by little just getting cleansed down, which is, some of these guys still have, a lot of these guys, Frodrum Javelins still have ammunition. The Frodrum Javelins would probably be able to finish off some of these forces, depending on how healthy they are. But because of the losses that they've taken, I do not expect them to be very healthy. So I would, my money would be on the Frodrum Javelins in that situation. Beast Hunters, AP and melee with their little maces, so that's another little added bonus. Our catapult is rattling in. That would have been a great shot right into the middle of the halberd line. Looks like there was a good catapult hit there as well. And Bestie's catapult, as I say, hopefully quite low on ammunition now. You don't usually see much combat on this second level. It's quite interesting when you do, but usually when the first level falls, people do fall back to the final level. Which, when you're down to less than 20% of your army, I don't blame people for doing that. I think if you still had, like, especially if you had 50% of your army and you fall right back to that final choke point, that's a bit cheeky. But no, I don't blame them for bolting back in that stage. Some more catapult fire coming all the way around. It looks like it's trying to counter the enemy catapult. Now, that was some good fire, and I definitely know why he did it. But as I often say, I love this sort of situation. When you are sort of limited down to just one artillery piece, you're really able to do a hell of a lot with it. But you can't pump out as much damage as quickly though, so you're not really going to be able to deal those massive damage shots that really sort of break entire forces when you land, say, 2 or hopefully even 3 shots on target at once. Even, say, 3 grazing hits can cause most units to be running. Blackguard, they're still very happy now, yeah, as these dwarves are brought low. Some crossbows actually. Looks like they were trying to fire for a second, but probably not. Has there been a push through the main gate now? Well, there's nothing really defending the main gate. We've got some Hereditary Berserkers that are running on in. Still got the Guardians and some Spearmen, Eldar Council, March Wardens, and some more Eldar Council. Kindred and March Wardens, some more Spearmen too. So, over on this end anyway, it really is down to Newbie 1 and his elves to carry it through. And this area as well, there's a few of these orcs left, a handful of Harad forces. How did this fight go? It was definitely very bloody for the defenders, and it is still seeming quite bloody for the defenders. But these final few trollmen not going anywhere, fighting up against, well, really the biggest trolls they'll see. The Nazgul tidying them up as well. So that is that sorted out. And I think it was pretty soon that Harad actually left the game, but they had everything gone at that point, so certainly not bad. A few of these guards of Khazad-dûm and Mithril Guard trying to fall back, actually. Looks like even some Legion Bodyguard trying to fall back, but getting caught out by javelin fire from the Eldar Council and then stabbed in the back by the Guardians. So that is some good Dwarven units taken out. This is a very sort of nice thing to see when you've got a unit that has all been minced when it was sort of clearly just shot down. So I'll probably jump up to 2 speed because I don't think there's much more fighting that happens for a little while. Oh wait, no, the Sons of Durin have come on down. And, oh god, don't tell me there's still Nazgul. Yep, there's still some Nazgul remaining. That's one Nazgul. That is the one bloody Nazgul. Oh, 4! There are 4 Nazgul left in that unit. Jeepers sake, they have done exceptionally well. They'll definitely all be like triple golden chevrons by this point. But they were actually leaving the fort. Leaving the fort, maybe going up on the... If he's doing that, then that's really interesting. He's leaving the fort, going up on the tower, climbing up, and then trying to get behind the line. Which, goodness sake, that's quite it's quite an intricate plan. And it is what he's doing. Oh. Oh no. Oh, goodness me, is he hiding them there? That's funny. You sneaky boy, Bestie. Jesus criminy. Hey, when you've got a unit this small, like, because you wouldn't notice that. Even if you were using the, you know, the highlight all units model, like, button, that wouldn't stick out to you. That's so sneaky. Oh, well, cool. Yeah, so clearly they're just waiting there for when we do push up here, they can run out of nowhere and just start slicing people apart. Only 3 of them, but 3 Nazgul. As damaged as they are, they can still hurt people. They maybe just can't tank as well as they used to. Sun is really wanting to use up his throwing axes from that Berserker unit. So they're falling out. But yeah, so as I say, we'll jump up to 2 times speed and I'll generally give a bit of a round off. I think my army composition, maybe, I don't know what, like probably the men-at-arms, could have ditched some men-at-arms there. I think when it came to this sort of situation in a 3v5, you know that you're going up against some elite units. And I think that I just didn't expect to go up against the real cream of the real concentration of elite units that I did. So I think the men-at-arms just did nothing. Like, we'll see the stats at the end of it, but my men-at-arms, like, they were just there to get cut to pieces. And maybe if I'd gotten rid of some of them, and in place, hey, son of, you know, speak of the devil, there's Sun. But I think if I had instead gotten some Perit Hill champions, and, you know, that would have definitely left me down on numbers, but I would have, I could have done something more with that. Now, as well, there was the added issue of my just absolute misuse of my Belfast Marines. That was a big goof on my part. I'm actually going to go up to 6 times speed because I think we do have quite a lot of shuffling around to go. Yeah, there's still a bit of fighting down here, of course, as the Sons of Durin are not willing to quit. Even when they're getting stabbed by the armor-piercing pike force, they're going to still be doing pretty well. A catapult standing by there, along with some blackguard. Not many blackguard left. The general amongst them, so he definitely doesn't want to lose his general right now. If you can help it, and you're an orc, you definitely want to keep your general alive. If you're anybody, really. And it looks like the arriving elves will be enough to tidy this up. So, Iron Foot Halberds coming in. So we'll probably hover over there. Oh dear, that blue and silver blob on that wall. But yeah, I think that maybe the Perit Hill champions could have been a much better choice for me. It would have definitely cut down on my numbers, as I say, but numbers that can actually do something are definitely going to be better for you. I thought I climbed over that hurdle by giving them an armor upgrade, and they also all had a melee upgrade too. So I kind of thought that, yeah, you know, these guys are pretty competent at that point. Now, if I could go back, what I would have definitely done is I would have played as Gondor instead of Dol Amroth. I like Dol Amroth in like a field, as I say, but I think just when it comes to sieges, I would prefer to have the sort of the real sturdiness of Gondor. But even then, say if I had been Gondor, what would have gone differently there? You know, how I would have countered the, you know, the Nazgul. The Nazgul would have just torn through just about everything. Oh yeah, crumbs. That was a real nuisance. You know, there was a really beautiful catapult shot there. Came right from up. Sorry, what was it? It came right from here. Yeah, and just tore all the way down through here. A lot of roasty toasty elves. So that was really upsetting. So everybody just sort of ran on by. But that's just, it's a big thing for attackers. You can never allow yourself to feel too safe, because when you do, that happens. And that's his general kill too, which is going to hurt his morale a little bit. You know, that's the whole thing with one of these things as a defender, is just trying your best to make your enemy feel safe. Because if you can, then they'll make mistakes like that. They'll not move around their units in a proper manner. They'll focus too much on being quick rather than being careful and sort of guarding themselves. Is that one lore and warrior left? Nice. But no, so I think it's, yeah, that's probably the main thing though, is had I gotten all of my javelins used, I think out of those 2 units of javelins, I probably used 1 full unit of ammunition. Yeah, and that's upsetting. That's really not good. Just so much money just wasted. As that could have been, you know, every one of those javelins could have been a dead dwarf. So that was a screw up. But all in all, if I had to put it down to one thing, it would be not noticing the Nazgul. Had I noticed the Nazgul, I would have gotten the Haven Guard in there. And I think it was just the fact that the Bulldogs were fighting alongside the Nazgul that was making it so difficult for the Haven Guard. I would have still kind of, as damaged as those Bulldogs were though, like I would have still put my money on the Haven Guard when they came into that fight. But no, man, like it just didn't work out. Maybe I should have led with my Haven Guard, you know, but that just seems a bit extreme to need to do that. And then again, what would I've used to counter the Nazgul? What I should have definitely done is moved my Black Swan Renegades instead of having them come up the left side, because the left side was doing fine. It was slow, but it was going okay. Whereas the right side, I was actually struggling. You know, I should have just left my Marines and my Archers to kill off that unit of Moranon Archers. As I say, it would have taken its time, but it would have happened. And then sent up my Black Swan Renegades on my right side, so that fighting alongside that last unit of Knights of the Silver Swan, those Black Swan Renegades could have maybe broken some Nazgul backs with their maces. So that's something that I would have thought about. Definitely screwed up with the Cav. That's something that, you know, as I say, I've explained that the reason behind that was simply I thought I could break through easy enough. I thought they were spread out enough, and you know, running through them when they were trying to, like, because they were throwing their javelins, so I would run through them. It would take them a second or two to get their spears out. By the time they've taken their spears out, half of my unit has already passed them. I just didn't move through them as fast as I thought I would. So that was the big screw up for me. I really should have had my cavalry remaining, because you can mess about with cav in the later stages, and we're seeing here as well, they've got their hammer guard still alive. They've got a full unit of hammer guard. So had I just had my unit of horse guard here just hanging around, the hammer guard will kill my horse guard, but my horse guard can catch them. And if my horse guard catches the hammer guard, it just locks them in place, and it means that my allies can shoot them, or my allies can get a spearman or something that can do damage to them locked in there. So my allies here, they've gotten a ram into position, so they're busting down one gate, but you really want to bust down both gates. Even if you don't really have the units to make use of both gates getting busted open, you should still do it. Best just coming down with a few scraps, just to mess with Sun's Hereditary Rangers and stop him from sort of rattling through these Ironfoot pikes. A lot of the Ironfoot pikes actually dropped there from that fire, so that was pretty good. But and the Hereditary Rangers are not going to have much trouble up against the Moranon Archers. So, and well, all the other scraps that came in there anyway. So once those two holes are broken, it really is just Lothlorien and Rudour to come in. It's quite interesting that the two armies that definitely had, I think, the toughest push, you know, because poor Erebor just definitely was caught off guard by that attack, and also, you know, and they just came in and flooded it. So they had an okay time of it, but up pushing through Khazad-dûm is horrendous. It's not something anybody ever wants to do. So I think that they had the toughest job, and yet they're the ones with most of the units left at the end of it. So they've definitely been quite careful and made sure that they had quite a lot left. Our catapult is out of ammunition, as is theirs. So it's resting there, and there's 2 units of these 43 catapult crew. Something I was quite interested in seeing, actually. Can you see it there? No, you can't. Because it's the same, they've got the same model, of course. Mordor and Angmar together. Also, Lothlorien's Eldar Council. Nope, he's dead. He's alive, yeah, so that's a palace guard. Yeah, cool, I just didn't know that before, so it's nice to see. Same with, of course, Erebor having Son of the Fallen for a few of their units. But yeah. Kindred remaining there. We saw them fire a few little pot shots, but they've still got most of their ammo. And the March Wardens, they look like they're out of ammo, but we'll have a look at them again. They were pushing the ram, that was their main purpose, but no, they've got some ammunition as well. Now the Kindred, if you were the Watchers of the Golden Wood, the Watchers can actually sort of fire up and over and actually get some decent accuracy there and get some decent damage. But the Kindred really don't want to do that. With their split shot arrows, the Kindred are needing to do direct fire. But the March Wardens are over here, firing into the front of these Erebor Legionnaires. And Noked Lee, if I was Noked Lee there, I would have been tempted to just tank it. Because turning around and exposing their back is kind of what caused those losses. But yeah, hard to say. The Hammer Guard are coming in to try and chase these March Wardens away, and we really don't have any cavalry to counter them. Luckily though, there are some spears standing by, and that is not something that the Hammer Guard want to face off against. It was actually very funny, I missed it, but when the ram was moving up toward this gate, the Hammer Guard came charging on down, and the Hammer Guard were actually wanting to sally out, but the ram arrived at the gate just beforehand. Okay, we'll go back to normal speed now because the clash is beginning. These out of ammunition Eldar Council, along with some Lorinand spearmen, are engaging the Erebor Legionnaires, as well as over on this side some catapult crew. It's catapult versus catapult crew, which this is really the battle of the Titans, and I was quite interested to see that. Eldar Council probably coming forward and accidentally scoring a lot of friendly fire, as will these Ironfoot pikes, just killing away. Good javelin fire there from the Fraudulent Javelins, and Bestia has been able to catch him with his Nazgul. So, as everybody knows, you can go into guard mode and you'll keep loosing your javelins, but someone's having a bit of trouble with that. And I think it's a good idea to try and sort of fall on back, and the Nazgul are going to chase him on out. So if nothing else, he's got the Nazgul running on outside, which is going to leave these elves to have victory in their fight. Over on this side as well, I've talked about this a lot recently, just slanted surfaces, so slopes and pikemen. Even the best of the best pikemen are faced off, or are having trouble with this too. So they're sort of being held back right now by the Erebor Legionnaires and some shadow bows, some nicely skilled shadow bows. But with this force in front of them, it really leaves the archers, the Kindred and the March Wardens, a clear shot to just rattle into them. And at this point, if you've got the ammunition, you really want to just kill whatever you can. They do now have shadow bows. I would just want to thin out their ranks and leave the Erebor Legionnaires alone. By that I mean leave them alone from all of their allies. I wouldn't actively avoid shooting them. Over this side too, the elves, we may be heavily outnumbered at this point, which is not good for an attack, but we have elves. Not quite good enough to deal with the Highborns though. They may have had victory for a moment, but that is going to be turning around quite quickly. Whereas outside, these Nazgul are chasing the Fraudulent Javelins and the Berserkers, and they're actually receiving some pretty good ranger fire as they do so. And we don't have anything in reserve, really. March Wardens of the Wood remaining with their archers. Well, with their ammunition. Kindred sort of falling on back. I think he was probably having a bit of trouble getting those Kindred to fire. He did mention something about that again, yeah. Can't quite remember what he said, though. Guardians there. Karis Galadron Guardians. Is it having... like, what are they having trouble with there? Because that's not too bad a slope. And they're sort of backing each other up, but it just seems a few of these guys aren't actually fighting when they really sort of should be. Maybe are they on guard mode? And they're sort of having a bit of difficulty sort of working out. But no, that's too bad. When the Legionnaires have closed with you, though, and they outnumber you that badly, you're not going to hold out for long. You know, the main thing that keeps these pikes alive is the fact that they can keep their enemy at arm's length. And they just can't do that in this case. Herenidine Berserkers coming on forward. I believe they... no, it looks like they're out of ammunition now as they just come slamming into the back of the Highborns of Erebor. I love the Herenidine Berserkers as a unit. And I love them as sort of a... you know, their aesthetic, their lore, everything like that. I don't know. I just never see them do too great. Like, even when I'm sort of using them. They really... if you can use their axes quite well, then that is awesome. But if you can't, then they'll never really perform too well. This very few troll well, actually quite a lot of troll drummers remaining. This guy sort of coming around the side of the Herenidine Berserkers. The Catapult crew, brave Catapult crew, have actually returned from routing to come in again, as the Erebor Legionnaires, along with these Temple Executioners, are pushing Newbie 1 out. Now the issue as well, once they've been pushed out off that gate, that means that the Hammer Guard can come on forward. There's nothing standing in their way anymore. So we'll probably jump up the speed in a minute as we get through the last few thousand frames. Herenidine Berserkers fighting it out. I believe they are locked morale, as most Berserker units are. But the pikemen, yeah, you can see that slope is going to be causing a bit of disadvantage for those poor dwarves, but they're still able to be quite effective. And I think it's just the troll drummers coming in at this stage. They're nothing like their actual proper warrior troll brothers, but they'll do all right. Very similar to the troll catapult crew. You know, you don't really want to be relying on them in a fight, but they can do something. So Hammer Guard coming around, just charging in and out. But this is something that I really was quite impressed with Newbie 1. It was just a case of lock them in melee with one unit, shoot them in the side, and then they run away, and they fall on back, and then they come into the next one, and then fire on them with the Kindred. So, and the Kindred, of course, going to be doing a lot more damage than the March Wardens were. I think he gets another good volley. Yeah, he does. So it's a bit, you know, don't really know what to do sometimes, especially while those Legionnaires, Shadow Bows, and Temple Executioners are all sort of locked up over there. Hammer Guard go over to help just tidy up Rude Hour, but this is really where the last zone of control is. Legionnaires from Erebor running on forward now. A lot of poison arrow fire from the March Wardens. The Hammer Guard have returned, so we focus fire on them. Good close range fire from both units. Start dropping a few of them, but they do make contact. That great defensive skill from the Kindred can keep them alive from some charges, and they're 2 hit points as well, so they might have taken a fair bit of damage from that that numbers will not show. They are on guard mode there, continuing to sort of fire away while the Legionnaires have engaged them. I do now have Shadow Bows charging in now, and the Temple Executioners coming around the side, no doubt, or no, just getting stuck straight in. Temple Executioners will definitely be enough to deal with that. So that was us sort of slowly admitting defeat. But Newbie 1 was wanting to fight it out to the last, which is very fair. I think it is your right to do that. Just rack up those last few kills and stand in defiance. So all in all, it was a pretty dang fun fight. 2 dwarves on the defense is always tricky. 2 dwarves on the attack is pretty damn tricky too. And you know. But yeah, we definitely had a lot of skilled players on our side, and I think, you know, my major screw ups definitely. I don't. It's it makes you sound kind of full of yourself sometimes when you do sort of say stuff like, "Oh no, it was my actions that cost us this game," you know, because you feel like, "Oh, you know, it was all down to me," you know, nobody else could have fixed it. But yeah, it was. So I don't really want to come across like that, but I think I definitely made some mistakes that had I not done so, we would have done a hell of a lot better. You know, I think just having a few more of my troops there, having a few less enemy troops as well, because we do end up coming down to about 90. Sorry, we'll see in a second after Haldir drops. 93%. So that's pretty damn close. As I say, that's within my margin for like what is a close fight. I will generally not show a battle if there's like a 20% percentage difference, you know, like I think that's kind of my limit, unless it is very, very interesting. But anything under like 10% I think is close. So we can see what happened there. As I say, like I was very, very upset by this. So 1 kill from the Swans. Now that was my general unit. They came in and they mostly were fighting against the Nazgul. But they were also fighting against the Bulldogs at the end too. So I saw 1 kill and I thought, what the hell happened to you guys? And as I say, I thought the only thing I'd think of was they got crossbowed to death, or they got axe thrown to death, like, or javelined maybe, you know. But no, it was the Nazgul that was just really messing them up. As I say, a lot of people do rag on the Dismounted Knights of Silver Swan, and I understand why they do that, because people always expect too much from them, but like, I didn't expect much from them today. You know, I was expecting them to be a morale buffer, but no, ouch, it was still dicey. And then next unit, 26, so that was the first one that went in there. That was the first one that went up and fought against the Bulldogs and the Maulers. So yeah, kind of was hoping for a bit better than that from them, but like, because they would have hopefully been racking up a few more Mauler kills, but it's fair enough. Haven Guard there, almost solely were fighting up against the Nazgul. Definitely did a lot of damage to the Nazgul, but it was the Bulldogs coming in, so, you know, I think all those kills, maybe bar 1, were Bulldogs. But yeah, then my Black Swan Renegades both got kind of equal kills there. First one, of course, coming in up against the Maulers and the Bulldogs. Nice, fully fresh Bulldogs. They were my first unit in the fight. Second one, yeah, I think it was definitely the one that lost... Oh, no, the one that lost only 60 was the one that ended up fighting up against those dwarves. I really expected better from them, especially considering they came in... Yeah, so I misused them, for sure. That was a big issue for me. Just let them... If they didn't throw their axes at me, they would have thrown their axes at somebody. That's the only comfort I can take from that. I just wish they were firing into my left side so the shields could have come into play. 19 from those men at arms is really upsetting. You know, you'd want more than that. 33, yeah, 52 is something that I can be semi-content with. Those pikes there, nice. These guys got broken on such a high number of people. I think they kind of just got mass routed there and just didn't come back. So that's too bad. So 32 for 37 losses is something I'm okay with, but I just wish that they didn't rout. That's all. The Halberdiers there, 137 kills, very nice. That definitely was my second unit that we saw. Actually, could have it's hard to say really. Could have been the first one that ran around, but because he was fighting up against a lot of boys. Yeah, no, I think he probably was. The second one was no. Yep, that was the one that came through the gate. This is the one that came around the right side and tried to back me up. Belfast Marines there, 125 there. So one of them did manage to use up a lot of their javelins, but also was just tearing through those archers. So most of those kills are more on archers. So, you know, don't get too excited about that. The 39 was the guy that basically, he used up about 2 javelin shots. He really was unlucky. That was just me I was being way too bold with him. You know, just sometimes you gotta try and be a bit crazy, but yeah. Then my archers, hey, 57 is not bad. Like, well, 57 is pretty decent. Like, pretty happy with that. But 25, I'd hope to get a bit more than that. And then the one from the Horse Guard, that was just because that was me being dumb. We talked about that at the time, though, and we talked about that after. So, as you can see, just a lot of goofs. I think just when I need to think up Nazgul and how to counter the Nazgul with Dol Amroth, and to be honest, Gondor as well. I'm not too sure. Like, the Fountain Guard, yeah, fantastic. Like, that's one thing that I was really maybe missing. If I had some Fountain Guard, I think this could have been quite a fantastic situation. But yeah, we'll move on to other people. Killian there, some damn nice kills. He did very well with his. I think he got several hundred kills actually with his demons. So that really blew open his section and allowed them to come ploughing forward. And all in all, lots of captures too. So they would have all run back to so that can be added on. Sun there as well had a very tough situation over on his side and really sort of was careful about, not so much drip feeding, but sending people in, as they were needed. So that was pretty impressive. And still had quite a bit left in the end too. Had a fair bit of ammunition left in the end too. So, but it was just there was too much for him to use it properly. Too much coming at him. Newbie won there. A lot of responsibility on his shoulders, and he definitely didn't buckle. He gave it his all, and he definitely didn't crack under the pressure. So that's quite impressive. Even like to the very end, was trying his very best, with some careful shooting, just to see what can be done. But those Hammer Guard are just too beefy to go down to those shots. And Gandalf, like, absolutely incredible for his first game. We really didn't have to guide him out too much. Like, Killian was giving him some ideas during the battle, of like, hey, we could really use you over here, we could use you this, and he would always, he'd respond, or it was great. So no, definitely some good potential from him, and I'd like to see him in a few more battles, I think. Nokid Lee, as I say, just got buckled early on. That was just, but he had a tough position. Like, we whenever the attackers are managing to like burst open a hole in your wall, it's going to be scary. So he definitely has my sympathies for that. And Killian and Gandalf worked like a well-oiled machine together, so they just came flooding on in. I'd love to take some credit with my halberdiers that came in to help them out, but yeah. Then Bestie as well, beautiful Nazgul play, very frustrating Nazgul play, but fantastic all the same. Used the bulldogs well, so that was nice. Used ammunition quite well too, so throughout, so that was nice. Great catapult usage, as so yeah, no, I've pretty frightening all around. The last shadow there held his ground exceptionally well, even as the center and the left were sort of buckling. He was still standing, so that was very impressive to see. Good axe use and things of that nature as well. Cat is crying outside, so I think he's scared of the weather right now. So I'll outside my room, not outside in the wind and the rain. But yeah, I'll go and comfort him. But yeah, see you guys. Thanks.